Watch this. Oh, look at that. Move myself over this way a little bit. So, this is the Overwatch 2 beta testing goals, uniting development with community. Okay, sure. They keep saying this, but let's see what they actually do in the long term. Yada yada yada. Player feedback, technical goals. They're bringing in councils. That's cool. There we go. Let's do that. Game design and balance goals. Between betas, we made several changes and have an impact on upcoming gameplay. For example, damage passive speed boost has been removed and replaced with a new passive that allows damage heroes to maintain up to 30% of their ultimate charge when swapping to other damage heroes. So my initial thought is, okay, so this patch or this beta cycle is going to be primarily focused on supports enjoying their lives in the game. I think that speed boost taken away from DPS is more about supports than it is about DPS. The truth is increased movement speed for DPS is actually like really on key, because DPS heroes don't actually have the highest DPS in the game. They don't have the best damage in the game. What they have is ways to keep damage on the target. This is why snipers have mobility. This is why a lot of DPS heroes have mobility. Maybe less fall off, stuff like that. They're better at medium to long range, or if they're short range, they have ways to navigate to the short range and to keep damage on the targets. That's what DPS heroes are all about. So being, they got more movement speed, well, that makes sense, because now tanks are really beefy in Overwatch 2, so instead of being able to allow DPS heroes to directly fight them, which they can't, and instead of just allowing tanks just to win all the time, just make it so DPS heroes can run away. I thought that was a brilliant solution. I think supports kind of, well, we're talking about DPS and tanks, supports were kind of the big losers in this entire discussion. So we'll see how that goes. I know people are going to say, Chro's a one trick, so he doesn't give two fuck. Like, of course he's going to hate this change. It's more about the balance concerns that I have for it. And the reason I've stated previously. Also, I think it's really boring. And not that, like, slowly healing as a support or reduced ult and knockbacks lame for a tank. They're not the most exciting abilities, but at least you can use them actively. Like, right? Like, you play a game and it's going to always be in effect. The truth is about the swapping thing, sometimes people don't need to swap. In fact, the game may be in a position where you don't have to swap. And so it's like, so if the game is, if people pick these specific heroes and there's the two specific lineups, they'll never change. Would we ever see this happen in Overwatch League? This passive is useless in Overwatch League. They don't swap. They have plans, they stick to them, they do them very well, and they hope they do their plan better than the opponent. That's what it comes down to. And that's really what gaming should come down to. It shouldn't be rock, paper, scissors, which is like the other part of this, is that what I'm scared of, is that this is going back to Answer Watch. Instead of being like, you're good on Junkrat, and you gotta be pretty good, but you can fight against this good Widow. That's never happened in Overwatch's history, but they could balance it where, skill matters. That's not the way they're going. And by far my biggest issue with Overwatch, and what it does to the community and you people, including myself, but less myself because I know what's happening, is that there's this, the saying, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. In Overwatch, when the going gets tough, run away. That's what Blizzard teaches you. You can't deal with that hero? Change your hero. Just run away from the problem. Don't get good at anything. Just run away and pick something else. Now people are going to say, well, this is how the game's designed. Blah, 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 blah. It's not designed that way. Counters were designed to allow better or worse players beat better players or good on specific heroes, which is really bad because that, again, goes back to Answer Watch. I despise Answer Watch. It should be a game. Therefore, it should be about player expression, and I shouldn't play a map and go, well, I got to pick this hero because they picked this hero and it's this map. This is just what you have to do. All that bullshit, all that important stuff kind of goes away. This is why Diablo 3 failed. Because, I'll just say as a monk, you had access to everything. There were no specific builds. Just everyone had access to everything. And a choice without consequence isn't a choice at all. It's just freedom of everything. But let's just say Monk, if you fought the first boss, instead of having like build A and having to get really good at build A, that was kind of sucky on the first boss, but good on the second boss, well, you just swapped your skills. So Monk had a build A for the first boss, build B for the second boss, build C for the third boss, and you just had these answers. So there weren't like 20,000 ways to play a Monk, like there could have been for, Paladin or Assassin or Amazon in Diablo 2. There was just one way to play, which was the answer they gave you, which really sucks. It makes the game really boring and lame. Diablo 2 existed for so long because it was fun and you could do ridiculous shit with it. Hammer-dins, singing barbs, I did max move speed assassins and I outran arrows. Like, there was cool stuff you could do that was still viable if you were good enough with it. And it was because of all this player expression and less answers that Diablo 2 was successful and Diablo 3 was not. So basically what happens is in Overwatch 2, I hope it's not this case, but I hope they don't go back to Answer Watch where it's like, oh, well, it's Junkertown. You have to play these two heroes on Junkertown point 1, and then point 2, you play these two heroes, and point 3, you play these two. Like, this is what you have to do. That's what I'm worried most about with this change, and I'm going back to a counter type thing. Counters is just a really, really shitty way to say we can't balance the game properly. I hope I hope my former guess, I shouldn't say guess, it's an educated guess, if you will, that this is more about support heroes getting their ass kicked, and they want the second beta to be about support heroes enjoying themselves. We're looking closely at how people are playing across all roles, and we're still paying particular attention to support performance to address player feedback prior to launch. The team is currently ideating, designing, and testing some abilities we can give existing support heroes, starting with Moira changes coming in the balance patch. And they also talk about Brigitte is getting her rally changed a little bit. Push has been... I don't like this. Push has been subject to a few changes over the past week. We added 2 minutes to it. That's not some changes, that's a change, and it's a really easy one. But I don't mind the change, I just don't like how they worded this. Over the past few weeks, we've heard many requests for competitive beta experience in the beta. We don't have it, but we're going to allow people to run back on the same match, which is good. That's good. I like that. And then, hey, we'll keep on communicating. So overall, like that, what I said is what I said. Again, this is scary. I have a pretty good guess on why they're doing it, but hopefully they don't follow up on the bad reasons why. Design is all about give and take, pros and cons. I'm hoping they're using the pros of this approach. Hey, it's an early access beta. We're just going to do something to make sure supports enjoy themselves. Oh, without speed boost, the DPS heroes were less likely just to destroy supports, and they had more fun overall. Okay, we'll give DPS something else. Not this really lame one. I hope I'm correct. Was there anything else? Any other news? I don't think there was.